A ceasefire deal between Iran and Israel may already be in trouble. That's where we're starting the 7 from the Washington Post. I'm Hannah Jewell. It's Tuesday, June 24th. Let's get you caught up with today's 7 stories. Last night, President Donald Trump posted on Truth Social that Israel and Iran had agreed to a ceasefire agreement. It followed 12 days of strikes exchanged between the countries and an intervention from the U.S. Both countries signaled their agreement this morning. But within hours of both sides acknowledging the ceasefire's start, sirens were heard across northern Israel as Israel said Iran had launched another wave of missiles. Iran denied it, but Israel's defense minister said he instructed the military to respond forcefully. According to a senior U.S. official speaking on the condition of anonymity to discuss sensitive diplomatic matters, the blueprint for yesterday's ceasefire agreement came from Iran. They said that Iranian officials made it clear to the Trump administration that they would come back to the negotiating table and discuss their nuclear program, but only on the condition that Israel stops bombing Iran. Whether or not it holds, the ceasefire comes as the U.S. is scrambling to try and figure out the impact of its own strikes on Iran's nuclear program. That's still not clear. This is a quickly developing story this morning, so make sure you check out our website for the latest updates. The Supreme Court allowed Trump to deport migrants to countries where they're not citizens, for now. That's number 2. As part of Trump's mass deportation efforts, his administration has attempted to send migrants to countries like South Sudan. The policy has faced legal pushback. Last month, a federal judge said migrants must have a meaningful opportunity to contest their removals. But yesterday, the Supreme Court cleared the way for the administration to deport immigrants to these so-called third countries while litigation continues. The ruling drew a sharp dissent from the 3 liberal justices. Justice Sonia Sotomayor criticized the administration for violating the lower court order and for trying to send migrants to South Sudan, which is mired in conflict. She noted that the State Department considers that country too unsafe for all but its most critical personnel. Number 3. Voters in New York City are heading to the polls today in the Democratic mayoral primary. Former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo resigned from office in 2021 after multiple women accused him of sexual harassment. Since then, he has said he regrets resigning, and now he's seeking his political comeback. Here he is at a campaign rally last night.
Democrats, we're going to stand strong, stand united, stand tall. You're not going to separate us. We're going to lock arms, and we're going to go forward.
Cuomo has been leading in the polls for most of the race, but an up-and-coming Democratic socialist is standing in his way.
Young people are already smashing expectations with surging turnout. But if we want to defeat Andrew Cuomo and his MAGA billionaire donors, we need an earthquake. Because my platform of a rent freeze, fast and free buses, universal childcare, funded by taxes on the rich, could be the difference between you having to move to Jersey City and getting to stay in the 5 boroughs.
That was Zohran Mamdani in a campaign ad targeting young voters. Mamdani is a 33-year-old state assemblyman who has surged in the polls. The candidates have framed this election as a referendum on the Democratic Party's future. If you find yourself asking, where's Eric Adams? The answer is he's running for re-election as an independent. This election will use ranked choice voting, so it may take some time to get a result. We have a guide to how it all works in our newsletter today. Find that in our show notes. Number 4. The Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade 3 years ago today. On June 24, 2022, justices overturned the constitutional right to an abortion that had been established nearly 50 years before. Since the Dobbs ruling, a new report shows that the annual number of abortions in the U.S. has actually risen, despite new state bans and restrictions. That's been driven in part by access to abortion pills via telemedicine. By the end of 2024, a quarter of abortions were provided through telehealth. That allows clinicians to remotely prescribe and dispense abortion pills to patients. Meanwhile, the Democratic Party has become less focused on abortion, but some Democratic senators want to refocus on the issue. They're warning that Republicans are pursuing a national abortion ban. A Texas food label law could force the food industry to change what it sells. That's our fifth story. On Sunday, Republican Governor Greg Abbott signed a bill into law. It requires labels on products sold in Texas that contain any of 44 dyes or additives. The additives are commonly found in baked goods, candy, and drinks, and they've been a target of Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. over their potential effects on health. The move from a Republican state is striking. Such policies cracking down on the nation's food supply have often come from big blue states, such as California. But much like California, Texas is a very big state. So food producers will have to decide whether to reformulate their products to avoid the labels in a huge market. That could have ripple effects nationwide. Number 6. Humidity surged across 34 states yesterday. For 150 million people across the U.S., humidity hit levels higher than Miami, but without getting to be in Miami. South Florida is famously humid due to its proximity to the tropics, but the humidity stretched way further north yesterday. The most humid place in the Northeast was Oxford, Connecticut, somewhere that's over 1,000 miles from South Florida's tropical climate. Not far behind Connecticut were Vermont and New Jersey. This extreme humidity is being caused by an air mass that took a winding, week-long, 4,000-mile journey northward from the Caribbean islands to the Northeast. So if it's sticky where you are, now you know why. And at number 7, a powerful new telescope released its first stunning images yesterday. The Vera C. Rubin Observatory sits on a mountaintop in Chile. The U.S.-funded telescope has begun a 10-year revolutionary survey of the Southern Hemisphere's observable universe. The telescope has a 3,200-megapixel camera, making it the largest digital camera on Earth. It released its first batch of images yesterday, and in just 10 hours of observations, it's already discovered more than 2,000 unknown asteroids. 7 of them are coming pretty close to Earth, but not too close. We'll tell you if they do. The telescope is named for a pioneering astrophysicist from Washington, D.C., who discovered dark matter. As a young mother, Vera Rubin's achievements were initially dismissed by her male colleagues, and she was passed over for a Nobel Prize. But now, at least, her name is on a truly remarkable piece of scientific equipment. You have to see these images today. They really help put things in perspective. Find a link in our newsletter. All right, you're all caught up. For your next listen, check out the latest episode of Post Reports. It digs deeper into Trump's gamble in Iran. White House reporter Natalie Allison explains how Trump made his decision and the divisions it's causing among his MAGA base. Plus, military reporter Alex Horton explains the operation and the consequences we could feel for years to come. Find Post Reports wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm Hannah Jewell. I'll meet you back here tomorrow.